To Be Hero X is like My Hero Academia if heroes were clout chasing influencers. In order to have powers in this world, you have to be a celebrity because your strength and powers are determined by your trust value, aka your follower count. So if you had 100 people following you on your Instagram feed pics account, then maybe you could wiggle your toes really fast or something. On the other hand, someone like Keanu Reeves would probably be immortal. I love how this anime shows how superficial becoming a hero actually is. It's not all sunshines and rainbows, but mostly how the public views you as a person. There was literally a hero who had to wear big ass boots 24/7 like they were glued to his feet, all because everyone saw him as a big buff man who always stood on business. Bro saved a little girl from a collapsing building by holding up debris for an hour, and now that's his whole personality. After that incident, he was permanently stuck standing. Sleeping, taking a shower, pretty much anything, he had to do it with them comically large boots on. So by this logic, let's say you decide to become a streamer one day, and you make it big. Sounds great, right? But the only reason why people watch you is because you stream League of Legends. Yep, you're going to have to play League of Legends for the rest of your life.
I would rather die than hear any of that again.
Okay, before anyone corrects me, I know it's technically a donghua since it's a Chinese animated series, but for the sake of my terrible pronunciation, I'm going to call it an anime. Sorry. But you know, lately China's been putting out some banger animation. Every time I see a clip on my For You page, they always look so crisp and clean. And To Be Hero X is no exception because one of the most unique aspects of this anime is its switch between animation and art styles. The show goes from looking like Arcane, then back to your standard action anime. Now we're in 3D. Now we're in 2D, 3D, 2D, 3D, 2D. You know, as off-putting as that sounds, this surprisingly isn't annoying or breaks any immersion from what's happening on the screen. Each transition is absolutely flawless. Like, you can tell it changed, but not in the sense where it looks like a completely different show. As of right now, the anime has gone through the arcs of 3 different characters, starting with Nice. Yeah, his name is literally just Nice. Anyways, Nice is essentially the ideal superhero. He has the looks of a K-pop idol and has the most basic superpowers, flying and super strength. Wow. He's pretty much invincible with Mark look like Gojo, and our first introduction to this guy is him jumping off a building. But in style. That's literally all the screen time he gets. Now you might be thinking, ain't no way that's his whole character arc. For the original Nice, yes, his story ends there, as sad as it looks. But the real protagonist is actually this dude who just got fired from his marketing job, Lynling. Nice's media team realizes they messed up and were like, you conveniently look similar to Nice. Close enough. Put on this costume and get in the car, this is your new life now. So after that, he fights a bunch of evil dudes and has to pretend to date Nice's, in quotation marks, girlfriend. I'm not gonna go too heavy into what happens since I want you guys to go experience it for yourselves, if you haven't already seen the series. I'm just gonna say that the ending was completely unexpected. Like, seriously. Just when everything seemed like it was gonna end smoothly, they hit us with a bang. Anyways, next up is Isol. Yongchan started out as one of those Chuck E. Cheese live action stage performers, except he was dressing up as the hero who saved him when he was a kid. Then he gets dissed by his crush's little brother who was watching the show and thought to himself, how can I make myself look more like the real Isol? LEDs. So, he spends a bunch of time working on his new costume just for the kid to say, damn, that's crazy. Then, yoink, the kid gets kidnapped by 2 hooligans. Now my boy's out here on a whole highway speed chase. And guess how he's keeping up? He's riding a bicycle. Yeah, no idea how he kept up with a van driving at full speed, but hey, that in itself is pretty much a superpower. Anyways, by some miracle, he lands on the van and has to put his life on the line to protect his kid. Dude was getting his ass beat until he finally awakens his inner shonen protagonist and fries these goons. A few people saw the fight and posted it online, and now he's got all the followers. So a bunch of plot twists happen and someone dies. Oh no! Of course, every hero needs someone to die in their origin story, otherwise, they're not a real hero. Fast forward, and now we're at the climax of Isol's arc. Over the span of 2 episodes, everyone debates whether Yongchan, the new Isol, is better than the original. After all the drama, they end up having an epic duel to the death, and big surprise, one of them ends up dying. The fight ends with a giant dust cloud with the silhouette of the winner standing on top of all the rubble. And I'm 99.9% sure it's Yongchan, but you can't really tell who won since it's so goddamn vague. I mean, it looks like him, but you can never be sure. Well, we're just gonna have to wait until season 2, I guess. So, that wraps up the 2 arcs where everyone looks like a Valorant character. Now, we're finally at the latest completed character origin, and my personal favorite character, Lucky Cyan.
Hold up! Hatsune Miku!
Anyways, her backstory starts off with her being the only survivor of a major plane crash. She then spends the rest of her childhood at an orphanage, and not your standard country bumpkin orphanage. Nope, this one's a straight up university campus. Unlike Asta, these kids ain't eating boiled potatoes for dinner. You might be thinking, dang, her life ain't that bad. Well, guess why they call her Lucky Cyan?
I wonder what her power could be.
Yup, she's the luckiest person in the world. If you ask her where the One Piece is, she could probably guess the pinpoint location by chance alone. Because of her overwhelming luck, everyone in the orphanage tries to take advantage of poor little Cyan. The dean of the establishment catches one of the employees extorting Cyan to make fat racks of cash and lectures her, only for him to use her to start a cult and sell merchandise. Like, brother, what? What makes you different from the woman you just scolded? So Cyan is over here thinking that she has no control over her life, until boom, new bestie appears. Luo here turns out to be the opposite of Cyan and brings misfortune to everyone around him. Poor kid had to transfer here because his existence alone burnt down the last orphanage he was staying at. Anyways, they become good friends and attempted to escape from this scummy place, but ruh-roh, it's the Dean, and he wants to continue extorting Cyan for his personal gain. My boy Luo sacrifices himself, summoning a whole flippin' truck to ram this guy. And because of that isekai attempt, Cyan successfully made it out and starts busking. Eventually, she becomes a big shot and even gets an offer to become a hero, which she accepts only because they promise to find a friend who's still trapped in that hellhole. Look at how Luo is being treated here. Is this the child protection helpline? Yeah, I want to make a report about a crazy old dude keeping a physically disabled child in a empty stank-ass room for like 2 years. So the company Cyan is working for does fraud to find Luo or clear up the drama surrounding her past, so she's like, fine, I'll do it myself. But when she got there, she was greeted with a scene straight out of The Walking Dead. So she starts going ham with her guitar bow and sprays that stank-ass Dean with some luck repellent. Yes, rip and tear, Cyan. So far, every hero has gone through a traumatic cliffhanger at the end of their story, except Cyan, because she's too wholesome to experience a tragic ending. All I'm gonna say is that the highlight of Cyan's story was when they revealed how she got her powers in the first place. Tears were shed that day. And that's as far as the anime has gotten to as of right now. I gotta say that, like, until now, they're cooking. They are cooking, and I'm sure it's just gonna get better from here. But one of the biggest mysteries about the series is this man right here. All we know is that he must have some sort of busted ability since he claims the current title X, which basically means he's the #1 hero. Every scene of him right now is just him aura farming. That's literally it. But he's already ranked #2 among fans and hasn't even appeared in the anime yet. Oh wait, there he is. Can't wait to see what he can do. Oh. All jokes aside, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season. And, you know, one of the coolest things about the series is the fact that you can actually determine what happens in the next season. On the official website, you can support your favorite heroes by voting for them, so the trust value system in their world actually applies in ours as well. Kinda like recreators, but in real life. Like, look at all these cool heroes. Is that a dog?